So there.
So there.
So there.
So there.
Let me know your thoughts.
So there.
So there.
So there.
Let me know your thoughts.
Why do you keep saying let us know your thoughts?
Let me know your thoughts to me is a nice lead-in for So there. So there. Welcome to episode 72 of
So there.
I'm Tom Karamitis.
And I'm Gary Doyle. We are coming to you live from the Hawthorne Mills Mall in Vernon Hills, Illinois, or as some people call it, Vermin Hills.
I'm sure they appreciate that.
Illinois. Why are we here, Tom? Why are we at the mall?
Well, at the time we thought of it, it seemed like a good idea. But I think because we thought, a sea of people walking by, we could comment on the kind of the state of mall in America.
Yeah.
But it kind of brings home to me some of the things some of the changes we've seen in malls. We have a lot of malls in northeastern Illinois, and a lot of them I've noticed the retail stores are kind of disappearing and have been replaced by experiences. Build-A-Bear workshop, exercise things. In other words, the retail companies seem to be leaving the malls. They've given up. They've thrown the white flag. Amazon, you win. And I think malls are in a state of trying to redefine themselves.
Wow, Tom Karamitis coming in hot with an assessment of the American mall. That's not why we're here, but that's
right.
okay.
Now, why are we here then?
I don't know why we're here. I thought we were here to observe the real America.
Well, this might be the real America.
Yeah. I don't know what's sadder, the state of the American mall or our lives that we're at this moment. I don't know. I've often said that you never feel like more of a schmuck than when you're waiting in line at the Costco for a free sample with 5 other schmucks who want free food. But I think this may beat that.
You think we kind of hit bottom?
Perhaps. So, we're at the mall. We're outside of Dave & Buster's. There was a homeless-looking man with a long beard that was sitting near us who seems to have left, maybe because of us. You're hearing random screams of children. Even though there's nobody in... Because there's nobody in the mall, when people make noise in the mall, it echoes throughout the mall.
Oh, yeah. And we are really, truly in a mall. I will confess we did a podcast a while ago. We said we were in a party city, but I just added judicious use of sound effects to make it seem that way. But we are truly in a sort of three-quarter empty food court at 12:34 p.m. on a Sunday. You'd think this would be prime time for food court action,
Good point, and it's not. I want to say a woman just walked by, a young lady in a bun. Her hair's up in a bun. I like that look. I just think it's...
Is that the velvet scrunchie, that kind of thing?
It's like a round bun on top of her head.
All right.
I used to call this, when my kids were little, I'd call them hair plants. It's like she has a little bulbous round hair plant growing out of her head. I'm making it sound unattractive, but it's not. I like buns. See, this is why we're here.
Well, I've noticed, and maybe things are just starting to heat up a little bit, but I have noticed a few people walking by us and glancing our way, so you never know what's going to happen on So There. We may have an unannounced guest star come up and want to shoot the breeze with us for a few minutes.
Someone that might be at the mall. Like Ben Johnson, the new head coach of the Bears.
Well, Ben Johnson, apparently not a big fan of Packers coach Matt LaFleur, kind of thrown a few barbs his way, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. Gary and I don't talk about football anymore. We had a big fight.
I wouldn't say we had a big fight. You declared that messages about sports are off limits. Even though Gary Doyle has been forced to leave a message per agreement, Tom Karamitis and I agreement, that the loser of the Bears-Packer game will leave a message So Gary Doyle, since the Packers have lost the last 25 games, or the Bears have lost the last 25 games to the Packers, Gary Doyle has done that, his duty. But when the Bears won the last game, Tom Karamitis declared a fatwa on leaving messages about sports. He chose that time to say, I don't think we ought to do this anymore. As the church lady, as Dana Carvey's old church lady would have said, how convenient.
If you want to relitigate this now, I'd be happy to, because we have nothing else to talk about. Suffice to say that I felt I gave a very thoughtful analysis of the game a number of weeks ago during the football season, and you responded by saying, I was getting tired of you listening to you blather on. So I can't win. Either I say nothing, I get criticized if I say nothing, and I get criticized if I say something. All right? That brought me down a little bit. I put a lot of thought into it. I don't remember who the Bears lost to that week, but it was, I think, the game when Caleb Williams was rolling his eyes on the sidelines when he sat next to the ex-offensive coordinator, whoever that guy was that they...
Yeah, Shane. Whatever.
Anyway. Bears, as usual, a lot of activity in the offseason, a lot of hope and optimism. You know, like every other offseason I remember for the last 5 or 6 years. A lot of big stuff.
Oh, so you're
signings.
So you're throwing shade.
No, I'm not.
Oh,
I'm
it sounds like you are.
No.
It's okay. You have a right to. Most of our off seasons have not been successful. There goes Bun Woman. It's not a round bun. It's more like a peg on the top sticking out of her head. No, she's walked that way.
All right.
So what's on your mind, Tom? Tom came prepared with a couple things on his mind. I did not. I plan to just comment on the state of the American Mall and the people who walk through it. But what's on your mind?
Well, I'll tell you something. I want to resurrect something that we semi-debated on a while ago, and now I feel like I'm in a better position to discuss it, because I got for Christmas this year a bidet.
Oh.
So I think it's high time we engage in what I like to call the bidet debate. Say that 3 times fast.
Wow.
I know you're a big proponent of the bidet, and I want to hear from you right now, because I have some mixed feelings about it, but I want to hear your POV first on what you like about bidets. I know the whole Doyle family is apparently a bidet family.
No, not the whole family. My wife is not. My daughter is. Actually, only my oldest daughter and myself are bidet proponents. So,
does that mean the other people in your family have tried them and don't like them, or just haven't experienced them yet?
By the way, alert, the homeless-looking man is back with the long beard and wearing a stocking cap indoors for some reason. I never understood people that wear stocking caps indoors. A lot of young people do that at work.
Yeah.
Or it used to be a thing.
Yeah.
They'd wear it on a summer day, a stocking
Creative
cap.
I used to work with, Matt Miller used to do that.
That's
Always
a look.
wore the yeah, that was the look. I never really understood it either.
Yeah, it's a look. He went to Sbarro.
And
he's eating Sbarro. So he's not homeless because he's getting a real meal.
Yeah, he's got some lunch money together.
No, but, big fan of bidets. It's clean. Cleaner than, toilet paper, I feel.
Right. Okay.
Saves paper, obviously. Just a little more civilized, I feel. Yeah, a lot more civilized.
It saves paper, but it consumes more water. So
true. I think the owner's manual for our bidet said that it uses about a pint of water every use. I haven't measured it. I haven't measured when I've used it to see how much I use.
Let me ask you a question. Because this was a delicate conversation I had with my wife about it. Do you flush before you bidet? Or do you bidet, then you flush?
No, of course, after, of course.
Okay.
Of course, because the bidet gets whatever's left on there.
Right.
And so once you've done that, then you're done. To flush twice would be crazy.
It would be crazy, but one of the things I don't like about the bidet is, shall we say, the scent that rises.
Oh, God.
It's a little unpleasant.
Oh, my God. I've never noticed that.
Now, I have.
How's your diet? I've not noticed that. So your wife uses it?
She's the one that wanted it.
And how does she like it?
I think she likes it. We haven't discussed it except for the thing I just mentioned. She flushes before she bidets. She sits there, flushes, and then does the bidet activity.
Okay.
All right?
Makes no sense, but okay. All right. Too bad she's not here. I could query her on that, on what you're trying to accomplish with that maneuver.
I think it's, I don't want to get too graphic
She's
here.
a beginner. Maybe she needs to figure it out. I don't know.
When you first got the bidet, were you so intrigued that you activated it when you weren't sitting there just to see how it all works?
No.
I did. Because I was wondering
shot the little thing of water up in the air?
Well, the tube in ours is aimed straight down. And then I said, well, how on...
Straight? Yeah.
Right.
But then yeah.
Well, and I didn't know how does it then... I said, does it snake up? But it doesn't. In ours, it kind of... There's a part that uncoils. And the part that comes down, that has a nozzle that points up.
Okay. Is it a Tushy?
I think so.
Yeah, Tushy's the big brand.
It was really kind of a very cutesy instruction manual.
That's the Tushy.
Oh, okay.
Probably.
Yeah. Is it white? Is it white with two dials on your right? One for temperature, one for
Well, we don't
intensity?
have the temperature control.
Well, we have it, but we don't have access to the hot water.
That's why I didn't get that. We don't have access to the hot water.
Nice.
But yeah, it should be. But they come in different colors.
All right. What color is yours?
White.
All right.
Basic.
Oh, yeah. I'm not going to pay extra for beige or anything.
No. But we put one in our guest bathroom. So when my daughter visited, she was over the moon. She was so excited.
Okay.
She likes bidets so much that she has a travel bidet from Tushy as well. Its own little portable bidet that you can use when you travel.
How on earth does that work? How do you...
I think it's like a little plastic thing that you squeeze.
Okay. Oh, okay.
You know
So
what I
you're
mean?
not hooking into the water system.
No, it's like a little thing.
Okay.
Now there goes three little miscreants, three little ne'er-do-wells. I said I don't like the cut of their jib. There are three youngsters, one in a school jacket, another in a hoodie. They look like they're about 12, wouldn't you say, Tom?
Yeah.
Something about them I don't like.
Increasing amount of mall action.
Yeah, a little.
Right now.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I feel
heating
comfortable. They're on their way somewhere to do a little something bad. Yeah, I sense that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Now,
well, good. I think everybody should use a bidet because I think while you're right that it does use more water, I think that the environmental impact of water is probably less so than paper when you think about where after you get rid of that and the trees that get cut down.
I think you're rationalizing. I do. I think you're. I think
Really?
you who admonish people who use Keurigs because of the wastefulness of the pods.
Yeah.
I think you tend to pick and choose your lane of.
Well, I think Keurigs are another example of environmental irresponsibility.
The folks in your family who don't like bidets, is it because they have tried them and didn't like them, or haven't tried them?
That's a good question. I don't think that Tucker and Ellie have tried them. I think maybe Lisa has once and was not taken with it. Yeah, because it is a little bit of a jolt when you first do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unless you have the heated one like you do.
But I don't have it hooked up to hot water. I will say I liked it more than I thought I was.
Okay.
I hooked it up because Kristen was excited about it. I hooked it up. And then I said, well, you know what? I haven't tried this in 20 years. When I went to Japan many years ago on a trip, they had them in the hotel bathroom. I'd never seen something like this, and I was intrigued.
No, I'm listening. I'm just looking at these ne'er-do-wells who have now moved closer to us.
Those are different ne'er-do-wells.
They are?
Yeah.
They're making a lot of noise. Are they going to beat us up? I think they might beat us up. They don't like the cut of our jib. Like, who are these weirdos with the microphone between them and that laptop?
Oh, I'll invite them. We'll invite
Tom
them
Karamitis, the master producer, showed up with a full array of audio products here. He does not go halfway.
I didn't want to disappoint
with the
Gary.
mall episode, which we're calling Mallin, because we're turning mall into a verb. As you listeners to the podcast know, we do that. We turn a noun into a verb. So mall or Mallin.
I thought mall rats was also worthy of consideration, but Gary Doyle, being the creative director, immediately shot it down because he didn't think of it. But that's okay. That's all right. By the way,
I've decided I'm going to, just now I had an idea. I'm going to form an Excel spreadsheet of your grievances to keep track of them. Not liking Tom Carmichael's ideas, leaving the wrong message about sports. What was the other one recently?
That's not
you
exactly
got upset
a
about?
spreadsheet.
No, there was the third one just recently.
Oh, yeah. Our next episode, which we're not going to give away right now, we have a big
Oh
celebrity.
yeah, that one. Yeah, putting your name on emails
Yes.
about the podcast.
Now, we're not going to reveal
This
who
is
it
why I
is.
need an Excel spreadsheet.
Well, we're not going to reveal who it is, but we're going to do an episode, Conversations with Legends, for our next podcast in June. A biggie. It's a biggie. And this person is friends with both Gary and myself, and when Gary reached out to see if he was interested, Gary didn't copy me. It hurt a little bit. But I'm a professional.
Tom Carmichael is a celebrator of Festus, which, if you Seinfeld watchers know, is the day of the airing of grievances. Before Tom Carmichael was retired, he would take that day off, stay home, and just
Compile my list.
and just work on your spreadsheet. Who's that screaming back there, Tom? Can you go ask them to stop?
It's probably a child of a certain age that is more enamored with the sound, the echo of his own voice.
Yeah.
So he just does it for that reason.
Yeah.
Back when you were a young parent.
Yeah.
Was Gary Doyle a super dad? Was he one of those overly indulgent dads in the mall or the supermarket? And, hey, buddy, what's your favorite cereal? Let's talk about the different brands.
I was at Disney World one time, and there was a dad with his 4 sons, and they're all like 8, and he called all of them buddy, and he was going, "Hey, buddy, no, buddy, don't hold your fork that way, buddy, you're spilling your French fries, buddy, you're doing the buddies," and he at some point called them plural buddies. No, I was never a super dad. I certainly know super dads. I feel like I was a reasonably engaged dad, right? Properly engaged, but not some super dads. I'm almost to the point where I think, the kids might want to play on their own. They might want to hit the ball around or whatever without you out there all the time. It's just a thought that occurs to me. I see some of these super dads, Is that crazy? Is that crazy to think that? I'm thinking of the children.
Well, the thing about the super dads, I find, is they're doing it for the benefit of other customers walking by them. It's a bit of a, hey, mom, watch me manage school of management, right?
Well, we've talked about that.
I know.
The school of watch me parent.
Yeah.
Talking louder than you have to at the Jewel. Now let this man buy in the car. That's what good kids do. He has somewhere to get to, but really loud, so they can hear your parenting. Here's one: projectile parenting. How about that?
You mean speaking louder than he needs to, just for the benefit of the...
so everybody else can...
Yeah. You talked about that dad that called all 4 of his kids buddy. At first I thought you were talking about maybe George Foreman. You heard about him?
Oh, yeah.
5 sons.
No, it was...
Yeah.
Well, no, wasn't
7 sons from 5 marriages.
Yeah.
And each of them were named George. Every one of his boys was named George.
No. The other thing about George Foreman is his daughters were derivations of George, like Georgette.
I had no idea.
Georgina.
Really?
I believe that's true. Everybody was named either George or a variant of George. I applaud that personally. I can't hear my name enough. You know what I mean? It's that sales trick when you say their name a lot when you're talking to them. Tom, I really think you ought to use our new software, Tom, that we're introducing for agency producers, Tom.
That's a very, very passive-aggressive technique. I also find sometimes you'll be watching an interview on CNN or someplace, and it's a way of, like, if there's only 2 people talking, it's obvious you're talking to me, but I find it's very kind of, Gary, that's not how we do it. Gary, you haven't been listening.
It can be patronizing.
Over your left shoulder, a gang of hoodlums just emerged from the restroom.
Well, there's 3 normal-sized ones, and then there's like a giant.
The ringleader, obviously.
A giant that looks about the size of Cooper Flag, with long hair. He looks like he's in an 80s hair metal band. For some reason, is hanging out with these smaller, younger children. I'm not sure about that.
Well,
I'm not sure.
He wants kids he can bully, right?
Could be. Judging by the apparel that the mall people are wearing, I think they probably buy their clothes at Costco. Not that there's anything wrong with buying your clothes at Costco, but you know what I mean? A lot of sweatshirts,
Yeah.
a lot of hoodies,
No?
a lot of jeans.
Hey, well, based on what happened...
You're wearing a hoodie.
Absolutely. And based on what happened on Friday, I think, and Thursday for that matter, I think I'll be buying a lot more hoodies at Costco. And,
I don't understand.
well, we lost a good percentage of our savings, if you recall.
Oh, yeah, that's fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's
All
great.
good. That's great stuff.
Yeah, yeah that's great. Tom Karamitis, another issue. He doesn't like to talk about politics on the pod, so you're baiting me now. You're baiting me.
You know what? We've put our toe in the water a little bit, I think.
Okay. All I'll say is, since you brought it up, I love how there's Trump fans out there that are actually going, now listen, son, this is all part of his master plan. You see, when the stock market is getting the crap beaten out of it, that's when you buy. That's when you buy and you make a lot of money. And also, you see, it's a negotiating tactic, right? When we kill our economy and kill theirs too, they're going to come to us and say, okay, we cave.
Yeah.
We blink. But they all think that he's got some kind of, this is all part of some big plan that he's got.
Yeah. Did you go march? You did go march. I saw you on
I did.
Facebook. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks for not liking my post, by the way.
But I think you and I have another trait in common, which is I think the both of us are injustice collectors.
Injustice collectors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
How's that different from grievance collectors?
It's not. I'm just familiar with the phrase injustice collector. But you can use grievance. I hope our guest at the next episode, who's probably going to listen to this episode to see what the hell am I getting into.
Can we tease the name of the guest? We can. We can tease him, right? We can tease who he is.
Only thing is, if we don't tease, we'll probably get a few more listeners out of curiosity.
Prominent Hollywood director. We can say this. Director. Prominent film director. Commercial director and Hollywood director.
Yeah.
Has directed big stars. Has worked with perhaps the biggest producer in entertainment in Hollywood at the time. Big time.
Legend. He's a legend. Yes.
That's why. That's why he's going to be on
Conversations
with Legends. That's a topic. That's a segment that Tom Karamitis and I have occasionally when we talk to legends. So yes, he will be the next legend. Let's just say he's big.
He's big. Tune in.
For those of you in the marketing circles, for those of you, in the marketing industry, for those of you who enjoy movies, big get for So There.
Yeah.
Here comes a family, teenage boy with a man wearing shorts. Bold move. It's early spring, but still pretty cold out.
Yeah.
What do you think of people that I see people that walk around or go or run in shorts in very cold weather? What do you think of that?
Well, I think those are the people that are dressing for the calendar and not for the actual day. The guy you're just referencing had basically a hoodie, like a parka kind of jacket on, but shorts. You know,
yeah. Yeah, I actually like that. That's a style I like. Sweatshirt on top or something warm, but then shorts.
Yeah. Because it takes a lot for your legs to get cold. You know, legs thicker. You know, it's budding romance perhaps walking by us, or
teens still go to the mall on dates.
Well, it's a Sunday. What else? It's a nice day out today too, which is maybe one reason why attendance is so low. This is not one of the more prominent malls in this part of the country. I know we have millions of out of town listeners and out of the U.S. listeners. This is kind of a middling mall as far as Chicago area malls go.
Yeah.
I had suggested the most prominent mall in this area is Woodfield Mall. Gary shot it down right away because it would be a 5-minute longer drive for him. And okay, I hope you're happy now. This mall feels barely open at this point.
I don't think there's any denying there would have been more people at Woodfield Mall.
And Conversations with Legends will also be another remote broadcast done from the house of the legend we're going to be speaking to. So,
who are some of the legends we've tried to corral? So, Geraldo Rivera.
Right.
It didn't work out.
Yep.
I met Geraldo and I said, emailed him the next day and said, come be on our podcast. Never heard anything back. Who else? Didn't we?
Yeah, we had. Diedrich Bader.
Diedrich Bader. But we didn't solicit Diedrich Bader. I don't think.
Well, you had the perfect opening. You and I have worked with him, and yet you're on another shoot with him.
Yeah.
Diedrich Bader, a lot of you may know as Rex Kwon Do and Napoleon Dynamite, but he's got a long, long list of Hollywood credits. Funny actor.
Rex Kwon Do and the guy that lives next door to the hero of Office Space.
Office Space.
What's his name? Lawrence. I think his name is Lawrence.
In Office Space. Yeah.
Diedrich Bader. A rapper. Remember the hip hop rapper I reached out to who sang the White Men on Bikes?
Yeah, I remember you did that, and I was terrified.
Yeah, she really funny TikTok about white men on bikes who think they're important and wear these ridiculous looking Cinzano spandex. Is about them. They've got somewhere to like this. White men on bikes, they're important. They've got somewhere to go. White men on bikes, they're important. You best not get in their way. White men on bikes. So it was like that, and I was taken by that and reached out to her. And about 6 months later, she responded and said, "Could you send a sample of your podcast?" And I did. Never heard back.
You must have sent her your solo episode.
Who else have we?
What we've done.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, you actually did a Conversations with Legends with ad legends Ned Crowley and Bob Akers.
Right.
Right. Is that the one time we've actually done Conversations with Legends?
Could be. Didn't we reach out to somebody super famous like Bruce Springsteen or something? I could be wrong. Maybe not Bruce Springsteen, but I believe somebody super famous. I could be wrong.
I don't remember.
Yeah, anyway. Struck out every time except for Ned and Bob and big shot Hollywood commercial director that we're talking to in the next. So there.
Unless he changes his mind after hearing our mall episode.
I think he might. I don't think he's actually listened to our podcast. So most people, when they listen, decide to decline. I want to say, I think a lower percentage of people here, a lower percentage are overweight than I would have thought, than I would have expected.
You were
just saying.
All ready for a bunch of fat jokes that driving up here today?
I mean, we came to the mall to discover the real America. And I thought the real America, and I still believe, the real America is overweight. However, most people we've seen so far are not. Just interesting. Just an observation. That's why I'm here.
You got a thin homeless guy.
Yeah.
But, they do a lot of walking, so you'd think that you don't see too many really obese homeless people, do you?
Yeah, it's an interesting point. You don't. Do you like Sbarros? He's eating Sbarros, the homeless guy.
He didn't go for the pizza, though. He went for some kind of...
How do you know?
Well, he had a knife and fork, and it was in a plastic kind of, take-home. So maybe it was the lasagna or something.
Yeah. Well, Midwesterners eat pizza with a knife and fork.
As opposed to New Yorkers.
Yes, that's how you should eat it.
Yeah.
Unless it's like deep dish.
Right.
But what? Tom Carmite is pointing at his laptop. This is what that must be an indication that we've been doing this for a long time. That's what Tom Carmitis does when he has lunch with you. He'll look at his watch after a while, and then that he's about done and tired of having lunch with you.
Let me tell you something. That's so off base. I had lunch with you when I was working, and I needed to get back to my desk. That's all. Is my hour over? Do we still have any time, or where are we? As you know, I lose myself in conversations with Gary Doyle. I could just, I get lost in your eyes.
Hey now. Hey now. Hey now. That's a great expression, isn't it? It's just it's just all purpose.
Yeah.
Hey now.
I discovered that. Is that where it came from? The guy in Gary Shandling's show, the guy who...
Hank.
That's the first time I heard it.
Catchphrase.
Hey now.
Hey now.
Is that where it came from?
Yeah.
All right.
And Howard Stern does it all the time.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But he got it from Hank Kingsley.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. It was like when all those sidekicks would have catchphrases back in the day, right? You are correct, sir. Didn't Ed McMahon have a bunch of them?
Well, he did, but I'm not sure how many of them were truly Ed McMahon and how many were Phil Hartman doing Ed McMahon.
That's a good point. They like Bush probably never said, wouldn't be prudent, right? Probably never said that.
Did he ever say strategery?
No, Bush never said strategery. Bush never said, not gonna do it. Probably. Maybe. I don't know.
Have the Doyles switched to full body deodorant yet?
I don't know what that is. Is there such a thing?
They're all over the place,
Isn't that like Axe?
Well, Axe was body spray, but now they're all doing a thing in the commercials. You see a guy who'll lift the spandex waistband of his underwear out and spray down towards his junk.
Sake.
It's whole body deodorant. That's how they promote it. It's everywhere.
You must be so happy to be out of advertising that you no longer need to create desire for these kind of inane products, like a spray you spray down there on. Oh, what am I doing what have I done with my life? A lot of ball caps here today too, I will say.
But they're wearing them frontwards. They're not wearing their baseball cap backwards.
I don't really understand the point either way of ball caps. A lot of ball caps in society. I can understand obviously if you're out in the sun. But other than that, I don't know, what does it add to a look? What does it do?
I don't know.
What does it do? I think sometimes... Sorry, go ahead. No, I was just going to say, I think there's... this might come across as sexist, but I think sometimes women are attractive in ball caps, but men just look like pigs. Do you think so? Same thing with like a plain white T-shirt. Maybe that's wrong to say. I don't know. On a man, a T-shirt makes you look like a pig. But they can look stylish on a woman.
All right.
Yeah. Ball cap, a little ponytail sticking out behind it. You know what I mean?
Like, what's her name, who was standing in front of the El Salvadoran prison?
Oh, yeah.
She had her little...
She did. Yeah, she had a Rolex watch, too. Did you know that?
Yeah.
All those people in cages, in tattoos.
Yeah.
Yeah. There goes Tom Karamitis again, going into... Oh my God!
I was riffing off of your ball cap thing. There was a writer I used to work with at Leo Burnett who used to wear his baseball cap backwards, which was a real thing with me. I used to just hate that. And I remember once we were on a shoot, and I said to him, the only person who should wear a baseball cap that way is a catcher.
Whoa!
And I'm not going to tell you what he said in response, but he cut me to pieces in about 6 seconds. I'll tell you what he said. I was at that stage. I used to tuck in my golf shirt. I'll admit it. I would, I know
you still
people
are,
don't tuck
right?
in.
You're still in that phase.
No, the golf shirt.
You seem like a tuck in your golf shirt kind of a guy to me.
But after I said the only person who should wear his baseball cap that way is a catcher, he responded with the only person who should wear a shirt that way is my grandfather.
That's unfair. You were right. Unless you're a college senior. Or just out of college, fine. That's what they do. They wear baseball caps backwards. You're a bro.
No.
Other than that, no. Gary Doyle is wearing sunglasses in the mall right now. Granted. So.
Yeah, it's.
I'm in a glass house throwing stones, however.
Well, and I think you said before we started You're doing it so people can't tell if you're looking at them and commenting on them.
That's exactly right. That was my strategy for this, to surveil people without them perhaps knowing that I am.
Yeah.
So there.
All right, one other thing I want to touch on before we wrap this thing up, and I'll get in trouble for this.
I think we've already said a lot of things that'll probably get us in trouble.
That's true. That's what being in a mall will do.
Yeah. Well, plus, we're face to face. We never do this. We record this on our respective computers in our respective homes, but because we're at the mall, we're face to face, and it's different.
Yeah, it is different.
Yeah.
It is different. I have an observation, which will probably get me in trouble. Xfinity has become, they do tons of commercials, tons of advertising. And I have this feeling from watching all their commercials that the entire creative team must be female.
Uh-oh.
And I'm not saying that's a bad thing or a good thing, but the spots all feel they're from a female point of view. All right? Everything.
Sorry, I'm a little thrown by there's a couple walking by she has a purse that matches his scarf that's hanging from his pocket. My gosh.
A bit of a gypsy look, that scarf kind of hanging.
My God, I don't know.
I understand.
Yeah, that makes me not trust him. They must be deeply in love, though. Let me just say.
Well, he probably put the scarf in. That's his dress-up scarf. That's his impress the chick scarf, right?
I don't know. All right. So, in Xfinity. Boy, you are... Remember that? You ever see that SNL skit where they were all sitting around talking about something, and then when it ventured into slightly risque territory, Keaton Thompson said, "Careful, careful."
Well, I prefaced it by saying this is not. It's not necessarily a criticism. It's just an observation that I feel like the point of view on all their commercials comes from a very female-centric place.
How so?
Well, generally, the buffoons in the commercials are always men. There's a lot, and some of the dialogue. There's a commercial where the woman says to the guy, "Don't be bitter." I can't see a guy writing that line. That just feels like a woman wrote it, right? And I could just go on, but I just find myself watching the Xfinity commercials, and I just sense that it's just embraced a totally female persona, which I just find odd. It's very transparent to me. It's not like a bad thing or a good thing, but it's a thing. I've noticed it. The voice feels very female to me all the time. Not to mention the fact that the AVO is always female. The stars of the commercial are always female. They're the smart ones. The idiots are the guys. It just has that spot after spot after spot.
Whoa.
So there.
Whoa. Well, Tom, I guess you don't believe that Xfinity commercials are the future of awesome. Now do you, son? Is that still their tagline? The future of awesome. When you have a product that's hated as much as Xfinity and Comcast are, generally, just hate, maybe you shouldn't say, we're the future of awesome. I mean, well, you could be right. Obviously, I don't know, but I'd make a couple of points. I think men have been portrayed as buffoons in commercials for years and years and years, especially dads. Like, it used to be a trope that any dad in a commercial is a buffoon, just a clueless idiot, right? Mm-hmm. The mom would have it together. The dad was just this doofus who didn't know how to button his shirt. So that's been around for a while.
But only white dads.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Absolutely. What was the other thing you said? About
Xfinity?
Yeah, it was Tell. That women made those ads. I don't know about bitter. Maybe.
Well, there's the line that always hits.
Yeah, sorry.
No, good.
Are you going to bring it up on your computer?
No.
Oh, the female announcer. I think generally, for whatever weird reason, there's something in the water with marketers, but I think female announcers are more common than men now. I think it seems maybe a little more real and a little more approachable for your brand. I'm just guessing. I probably use more too, but it's just men are scary and off-putting and Eddie, perhaps.
Yeah, look, obviously if that were the only piece of evidence, then there's no case. There's lots of campaigns who are using a female VO, but I just feel like in its entirety, I just get this feeling as I watch them. I wonder how I could research that. I gotta find out who the agency is for Xfinity.
They probably have a lot.
Yeah.
He's giant.
Yeah.
Verizon has several agencies.
Okay.
I don't know.
Does Progressive have several agencies?
No.
I mean, they've got different campagns, but they're...
I believe there's one, and now I'm forgetting who it is. It's in, I forget, but there's one. Yeah, they're very good.
It would be ironic if this turned out to be our longest episode. The one that I could tell when Gary Doyle walked in to do this, he had this look on his face.
I didn't know why we were here.
Like Spinal Tap when they were at the amusement park, They didn't want to perform that day. What are we doing at an amusement park? We're third billing to a puppet show. Yeah.
Well, Tom Karamitis picked a strange place to record, which just worked out. Just a place with not a lot of foot traffic. I remembered what I want to talk about. Have you seen these? Were all over the Cubs game yesterday. Every other ad. They're actually quite nice. The new Miller Lite commercials, and they're voiced by Christopher Walken.
Really?
Yes.
He's still alive. That's
Very
good to know.
Distinctly Christopher Walken, and I Googled it, and I said, yes, it is Christopher Walken. Leo Burnett, our old agency, did it. They're quite nice.
I didn't know Leo Burnett had Miller Lite.
I didn't either.
Okay.
But they're kind of about a history of Miller Lite and how so many stories have come from Miller Lite, and it's like many commercials are now. It's all what we call in the business, so found footage. It's all like archival footage of people drinking, and people like John Madden, right? And people like Luke Combs. Do you know who he is?
Yeah.
Drinking it out of a boot, and all like black and white photographs that they just grabbed, and it's not actually, they didn't shoot anything. They just grabbed stuff that was out there, which is a very common way of making ads now.
Yeah.
And but it's very nice voiceover, and it's kind of one of those anthem commercials for you marketers out there. This is what they call those anthem commercials. Big kind of lots of voiceover in 60 seconds.
Every creative...
Talk about the brand on a real, put it up on a big pedestal and talk about it. Right?
Yes. And to that point, I think, and you can comment on this, please do. Every creative team in existence in advertising, at one point or another, has named a commercial they wrote Anthem.
Yes, of course. That increases its chances of selling, of people liking it, if you call it Anthem. And then people are expecting a big treatise on your brand and what it means. And that's what the Miller Lite thing is. It's like a place that's, a lot of stories have come from this beer. And it's pretty good. For all you listeners, Google Miller Lite commercial, Christopher Walken. You'll see it. Good job, Leo Burnett.
And that's when all the would-be philosopher copywriters and agencies come out with all of their highfalutin, inspirational language, the stuff they can never use when they have to write an ad that bananas are on sale at Woodman's this week, right? They come out with their kind of high-concept, esoteric, brainiac crap that ultimately the client won't buy. We really just want to say that bananas are on sale this week.
What about the jewel as a tribute to the human spirit, man? What about that, man? What about a refuge from our troubles?
This was really good. We'll save it maybe for the next round. But we really want to talk about bananas.
You know, I'm gonna do this in my spare time. You know, we know some people at Leo Burnett. I'll bet if we did a little digging, we could get a hold of that script. If we tried hard enough, get a hold of that script and see what's called Anthem.
The Miller thing?
The Miller. The script, the person that wrote it is at Leo Burnett. We know some people there. If we did just a little sleuthing and, you know, maybe snuck in the building and maybe went to their desk and maybe, you know, got their password on their laptop.
Yep.
The other big Christopher Walken speech, remember? And he hid that watch in the only place that nobody would find it, his ass.
Was that an SNL sketch?
No, that was from Pulp Fiction, remember?
I don't remember that scene.
Oh, okay. There's another bun person. We call them the bun people.
The women with the buns, is that just when they didn't wash their hair that day and
Probably.
That's why they do that?
I don't know. We've already offended enough women. I'm
I
going to be
have, you
hearing.
haven't.
Yeah, you have. I'm going to be hearing from my daughters about your generalizations.
Your daughters don't like
And now
me
you're
anymore.
going off
That's
on
all right.
buns, although I started it about buns. But yes, I imagine it's when they don't wash their hair. I don't know. We're going to receive a lot of hate mail at yahoo.com if you women would like to write in and tell us what you thought of today's episode. How much have we offended you? Didn't we call our longest episode the filibuster episode, where we purposely
Yes.
tried to make it like an hour?
Yes.
This may
Good
be
memory.
This may be an hour without trying. So we would like to filibuster a bit longer, just to see if there's any other maulers, but no, nothing but more 14-year-old boys.
A lot of kind of
14-year-old
puberty age.
boys.
Yeah.
But that's
Early
kind of
teens.
encouraging in a way, that they still go to the mall. They don't just sit and watch TikTok all day. You know, they go to the mall.
Yeah.
They're out there with the people, just like us. For Gary Doyle and Tom Karamitis, we bid you a so then.